Hey, I have got to share something that has just been weighing really heavily on my heart. It is something that has it's broken my heart, but you are not going to see me cry in this video. And the reason you aren't is because my job is to share the realities and educate people about human trafficking. And at a certain point, you just learn not to cry about that anymore, because your tears can detract the truth coming from your mouth to someone's ears. And so I've had to learn not to do that. But my heart's broken all the same. So here's some tough mother love coming at you. In the last little bit, I have been approached with all sorts of conspiracy theories about human trafficking. And I have received those with open arms for the opportunity to educate on what human trafficking is and what it isn't. But I have seen people spreading these false narratives and misinforming people over and over again without bothering to check on what the truth really is. That's so dangerous. It's so dangerous. You're playing into the hands of traffickers who are counting on us spreading information that suggests that trafficking is only with these powerful elite and not with a guy down the street who has had his eye on, one of your kids who would really like to lure them in, or that it only happens by kidnapping so that you won't be worried about, while they're doing remote learning, some guy catfishing them and then luring them in through a relationship, because that's the reality of how it happens. These conspiracy theories, if you ask the right questions, are a great opportunity to learn the truth. But when you spread them, what you do is actually play right into the hands of a trafficker, make my job harder as an advocate, because then I have to go to audiences who have all these preconceived notions and believe these falsities of how trafficking happens and take their eye off the ball, which is the real way that children get trafficked. I love what I do. I love what I do. And what I do is really planted in this really simple philosophical belief that kids, like my 4 kids, all deserve love and protection and advocacy. And that in the absence of a child having that those who can step in the gap must. It's simple. And for the last 7 years, I've been doing that. I've been sitting at this purple table that is neither Republican red or Democrat blue, that's just purple, with these people who just simply believe that same very simple truth, that people deserve to be treated like people. Now, one of the things that I come up across all the time is this belief that human trafficking is a new thing. It's a lie that we've had since the beginning of time. That lie that some people can be exploited for somebody else's sexual pleasure or for labor so that they can turn a buck. That lie has existed since the beginning. And it has wound its way through our species and through our history and taken root in some people's hearts. And when that happens, it has borne this really terrible fruit that resulted in chattel slavery, which is a really dark stain on our country's history. And we've always had that lie pop up in different forms, and we've fought it in different forms. As long as that lie has existed, we've had people who have been suffering because of it, people who have been gaining because of it, and people who've been fighting it because of it. And I get to fight with people who are, in modern day, standing in the gap. And it's such an honor. But throughout history, there have also been these people who have stepped on the sidelines or covered their eyes and covered their ears and said, it's too big, or I'll let them do it, or it couldn't happen to my child, and so there's no need. And that makes up the vast majority of those people, is the complacent. Now, what's really bothered me recently is that the joy that I have in advocating and bringing people to this purple table has been that in our diversity, coming from different backgrounds, different colors, different political ideology, that in our diversity we've been able to come up with strategies that have evolved because of the strength that we all carry in that diversity. That diversity has created better plans, better weapons against human trafficking. It's been a really beautiful thing. It's been a peacemaking thing. I have never met someone who is Republican or Democrat who said, I can't fight because of that. I can't fight that issue because it goes against my political beliefs. Not once, not ever. Today, I was informed that somebody told somebody who works with SHIELD that they can't work with SHIELD because SHIELD has failed to take a stand by becoming a Republican organization. I voted Republican before, I voted Democrat before. But my stance on whether or not vulnerable people should be treated as people is a humanitarian issue. And when we become so divided, even on our nonpartisan issues as a country, the very soul of our country is in peril, period. When we allow that to happen, we play right into the hands of a trafficker who is just hoping that we will be divided enough to not be able to get our act together, to come at them with this groundswell and strong strategy, divine strategy to combat them. We're playing into it. And I won't allow that to happen. This is not a political issue. This is a humanitarian issue. It has always been a heart and a humanitarian issue that humans have had to fight, and humans have been fighting. So that is what broke my heart today, is because, you know, and I've sensed it coming. I've sensed that in our divisiveness, that even our nonpartisan humanitarian issues could be in jeopardy. But honestly, I didn't really think that it would come to that with human trafficking, that one person or one political party would say that they can't work with somebody else unless they believe the same political ideology as they did. But the worst of it is that one of the theories that is circulating in this idea that's starting to get some buzz is that the coronavirus, that a global pandemic was actually created to detract from the real issue of human trafficking. And to that, I say, where the hell have you been? Because I can tell you, you've been on the sidelines with your hands over your ears, because people like me and other organizations like Project Fight, Project No Rest, Shared Hope International, True Justice International, Polaris Project, Cry Freedom, they've all been doing the hard work. I'm not in the trenches like True Justice International is. I'm not on a bathroom floor with a woman who is having flashbacks from the PTSD that she received from having hundreds of rapes. They're in the trenches. If you really believe that this is an issue that we shouldn't distract from, something that you believe we should get behind, all right, send them a check. Send them a check in the mail. Learn more. You know, don't just get your information from Reddit, get it from the people who've been doing the work. But shame on you for saying that this pandemic was designed to detract from the issue of human trafficking, because we've been trying to get your attention, baby. We have been trying. But the reality is that the only thing that has been the real distraction has been complacency and misinformation and not wanting to hear. Or lip service and not really putting your treasure and your talent and your time where your mouth is. That's a hard truth, but it's the truth. So shame on you for pointing your finger at a virus, for distracting something that you have from something that you have willfully not been a part of combating, in spite of the fact that our country has been fighting it for the last 2 decades. Where have you been? It's time. I don't have time for that. But don't you come at me with political agenda for a purple issue, a heart issue, a human issue. Because I can tell you one thing, those kids do not care how you cast your ballot. They don't care. They don't care if you voted Democrat or Republican. They're just wondering where you are when they're in hell. Just wondering where you are. What's taking you so long? So don't point your finger and say we didn't know and this is distracting from the real truth of things. Because we've always been here. There have always been people advocating for those who've been exploited. As long as that lie has existed, there have been people of courage who've stepped up. So my question to you is, who are you going to be? Are you going to stand up? Because there's only one table to come and have a discussion about this about, and it's the purple table. So you check your political agenda at the door. Take off your Biden pin, take off your MAGA hat, and you sit down and let's get to work.